Welcome to our channel, where we explore the hidden value inside the coins you see every day. In this video, we're taking a closer look at some of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered, coins that look ordinary at first glance but can be worth thousands once you know what to look for. Let's start today's video with a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance. A coin that most of us have held countless times, used to pay for groceries, parking meters, or vending machines. It's small, it's familiar, and you've probably never given it much thought. But the coin we're starting with today has qualities that make it stand out for collectors, even though it looks like a standard dime. It's a coin that shows how much detail and care can matter, even for something as common as a 10-cent piece. The coin is the 2005 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it looks like every other Roosevelt dime in your pocket. The same profile of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt on the obverse, the same inscriptions, the same ridged edge. The same size and color that make it instantly recognizable. But what makes this coin interesting to collectors is not what you see at first, it's what's hidden in the details, the quality of the strike, and how well it has been preserved over the years. To understand why this dime is special, it's worth stepping back for a moment and looking at the history of the Roosevelt dime. The dime was first issued in 1946, shortly after Franklin Roosevelt passed away. The coin was chosen to honor him in part because of his association with the March of Dimes, the organization dedicated to fighting polio, a cause that Roosevelt was deeply connected to due to his own experience with the disease. John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, created the design. Roosevelt's profile is calm and composed, his expression thoughtful, and the reverse features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime has remained mostly unchanged, which makes it familiar and consistent. But familiarity doesn't mean every coin is the same in quality. Even modern coins produced in massive quantities can vary in sharpness, strike quality, and surface condition. Most coins are struck for circulation, which means they are not expected to survive handling without some marks, scratches, or minor imperfections. That brings us to the 2005 dime. Produced at the Denver Mint in 2005, millions of these coins were released into circulation. The Denver Mint is known for its high-quality strikes, and in 2005, it operated efficiently, producing coins in enormous quantities. Among the millions of dimes minted, only a very small number were struck with exceptional clarity and managed to remain in near-perfect condition. These coins were not damaged during production, transport, or handling, which makes them extremely rare from a collector's perspective. Collectors evaluate coins using the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. Modern coins in circulation rarely reach grades above MS 65 because they experience normal wear and handling. But the top examples of the 2005 Roosevelt dime achieved grades of MS 69 or even MS 70. These coins are essentially untouched, with full, sharp details on Roosevelt's profile, the inscriptions, and the torch and branches on the reverse. Even the tiniest features, like the strands of hair or the small lines on the torch, are crisp and fully defined. What makes this coin especially valuable is its combination of rarity and condition. Most 2005 dimes show minor marks, light bag marks, or loss of sharpness in certain areas. Coins that survive in perfect or near-perfect condition are extremely uncommon. Only a handful of dimes from that year have been graded at the very highest levels, making them particularly desirable for collectors trying to complete premium collections of Roosevelt dimes. This 2005 dime is also an example of what numismatists call population rarity. Even though millions of dimes were minted, only a few exist in the top-grade condition, which creates a very small supply compared to the demand from collectors. The rarity is not due to age, precious metal content, or unusual design, it's based purely on condition and the chance survival of a coin that avoided even minor imperfections. Collectors pay attention to every detail of these coins. The letters in the inscriptions, the ridges along the edge, the definition in Roosevelt's hair, and the lines on the torch are all inspected. On lower-grade coins, some details are worn or less defined, but on the top-graded 2005 D dimes, every detail remains sharp. This level of preservation makes the coin a standout in collections and gives it significant value. The story of this coin also highlights the role of careful handling and luck. A coin of this quality likely never entered circulation. It may have been saved from a bankroll, stored in a collector set, or kept in a mint-sealed package. Any contact with other coins, surfaces, or containers could have caused minor marks, lowering its grade. The fact that it survived in this condition for nearly 2 decades adds to its appeal. Over the years, collectors and grading companies recognized the importance of this coin. Submissions for grading were closely monitored, and as the results came in, it became clear that only a very few 2005 D dimes had reached the top level of quality. Coins graded MS-69 or MS-70 were extremely limited, and that rarity attracted interest from serious collectors who wanted to complete high-end Roosevelt dime collections. When one of these top examples finally appeared for sale, it drew significant attention. Collectors understood that coins like this do not appear often and that missing out on an opportunity to acquire one could mean waiting years for another chance. And finally, after all the bids and interest, the coin sold. The 2005 D Roosevelt dime, a coin most people think of as just 10 cents, reached a remarkable final price. Sale price was $31,000. Now let's move on to the second coin in today's video, the 2002 P1 dime. At first glance, it looks just like any other dime you might find in your pocket. It's small, silver-colored, and familiar. But for collectors, this coin is far from ordinary. What makes it special isn't something you can see immediately, it's a combination of quality, rarity, and preservation that sets it apart. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2002, a year when millions of dimes were produced for everyday circulation. Unlike collectible sets or proof coins, most of these coins were meant to be used for transactions, meaning they were handled, transported, and spent like any ordinary coin. In most cases, that means the majority of coins would acquire marks, small scratches, or minor imperfections almost immediately after leaving the mint. What makes the 2002 P1 dime remarkable is that a few examples survived in near-perfect condition. These coins retain sharp, crisp details across every part of the design. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse appears fully defined, with every line of his hair and facial features visible. On the reverse, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch are sharply struck, and the lettering is clean and easy to read. Even though millions of these dimes were produced, coins that survive in this level of condition are extremely rare. Modern coins were not intended to be collectibles, so finding one that remains virtually untouched after more than 20 years is unusual. These top-graded coins are the ones that attract serious attention from collectors. Collectors value coins like this for a few reasons. First, it's about condition. Coins that remain pristine after years of circulation are highly sought after. Second, it's about scarcity. While millions of 2002 P dimes exist, only a small fraction are preserved at the highest grades. That small population creates demand and drives market interest. Another factor is the role of collectors completing high-grade sets. Many collectors aim to have a complete set of Roosevelt dimes with the best examples from each year and mint. The 2002 P dime in top condition can be an essential piece for someone pursuing a perfect collection. Without it, their set might feel incomplete, which increases its value to the right buyer. The story of this coin also highlights how careful handling and a bit of luck can make a difference. A coin of this quality likely never circulated. It may have been part of a sealed bankroll, stored in a collector's set, or otherwise preserved in a way that kept its surface flawless. Any contact with other coins, surfaces, or packaging could have caused marks that would lower its grade. When these top-graded 2002 P dimes reached auction, collectors immediately recognized their rarity. Bidders understood that opportunities to acquire coins in this condition were extremely limited. Even though the coin is modern, its scarcity in perfect condition makes it valuable. What's also interesting is that coins like this give insight into the production quality at the Philadelphia Mint in 2002. The mint had strict quality standards, but with such a high volume of coins, even a tiny number of near-perfect examples becomes notable. Collectors often study subtle differences in strike, luster, and surface to identify the coins that stand out. The market for this coin shows how even ordinary coins from recent years can command high prices when they meet the right criteria. It's a reminder that value in coin collecting isn't just about age, metal content, or historical significance, it's also about rarity and preservation. These coins also teach collectors to pay attention to details that are easy to overlook, like how well the lettering is formed or how crisp the edges are. Sometimes the difference between a high-value coin and a common one is visible only under magnification. This level of observation is part of what makes modern coin collecting both challenging and rewarding. Another interesting point is that the 2002 P dime represents a snapshot of the U.S. Mint's production process at that time. Subtle variations in the striking pressure or the freshness of the dies can result in coins that are slightly sharper or softer than others, which collectors carefully examine when determining value. Some collectors also enjoy tracing the provenance of these coins. Knowing that a particular 2002 P dime remained untouched for decades adds a story behind the coin, increasing its desirability and collectible appeal. Collectors often monitor sales of coins like this to track trends in value over time. They also consider how demand for modern dimes in perfect condition compares to older, historical coins. This helps them make informed decisions about when to buy or sell. The coin's luster and eye appeal also play a role. Even minor variations in color, shine, or reflectiveness can affect a coin's grade and market value, making these details important for collectors aiming for perfection. And finally, after careful bidding and competitive interest, the coin's value was confirmed. A top-graded 2002 P1 dime sold for an impressive $35,000. This coin is a clear example of how even modern, everyday coins can become highly collectible when they survive in exceptional condition. For collectors, it emphasizes the importance of preservation and attention to detail, and it shows that even coins minted less than 25 years ago can be valuable treasures. Next up, we have a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but for collectors, it carries an exceptional significance, the 1996 P. Roosevelt dime. Like most dimes, it's small, silver-colored, and something most people handle every day without a second thought. Yet, when we take a closer look, this coin has qualities that make it far more than just pocket change. The 1996 P dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when millions of these coins were produced for circulation. Most coins from this period entered everyday commerce immediately. They changed hands countless times, passing through registers, wallets, and coin jars. That ordinary usage, over time, led to scratches, wear, or small blemishes on nearly every coin, which is why pristine examples are so rare. What makes this dime special is that a few examples survived untouched by circulation. These coins maintain sharp, precise details across both sides of the coin. On the obverse, Roosevelt's profile stands out vividly. Every detail of his facial features and hair is fully visible, a testament to the quality of the die and careful preservation. The reverse, featuring the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, remains sharply defined, with lettering so crisp it appears freshly struck. Collectors highly value coins in this condition. Even though millions were minted, only a tiny percentage survived in such pristine form. This scarcity, combined with its impeccable preservation, makes the 1996 P dime an attractive piece for serious collectors. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about possessing one of the few examples that has escaped the wear and tear that affected the vast majority. One reason this coin is especially important is for collectors working on high-grade sets. Many numismatists aim to assemble complete collections of Roosevelt dimes with the finest examples from each year and mint. The 1996 P dime in top condition is a critical piece for completing such a collection. Without it, a set might feel incomplete, while adding it elevates the entire collection to a much higher standard. Preservation played a huge role in this coin's survival. Some examples were stored in sealed rolls, protective albums, or collector boxes. They avoided contact with other coins and surfaces that could cause abrasions. In many cases, it took decades of careful handling, or, rather, careful non-handling, for these coins to remain in near-perfect condition. The role of luck cannot be overstated. A minor slip or exposure could have rendered the coin far less valuable. Collectors also examine subtle characteristics that make certain coins stand out. Even within the same year and mint, slight variations in strike depth, the freshness of the dies, or the coin's luster can differentiate a top-quality example from a common one. A 1996 P dime in superior condition exhibits all of these characteristics: full detail, sharp relief, and strong visual appeal. These qualities make it a must-have for modern coin enthusiasts. Understanding the coin's production also adds to its allure. The Philadelphia Mint in 1996 followed strict quality standards, yet with millions of coins produced, only a small fraction could meet the highest grading criteria. This makes top-grade examples extremely scarce. For collectors, owning one is not just about the coin itself, it's about having a tangible connection to a particular moment in the U.S. Mint's history. The market for coins like this also highlights how modern issues can achieve extraordinary value. While many people assume that older coins are the only ones worth collecting, this example proves that even coins minted in the 1990s can be highly prized. Condition and scarcity are what drive collector interest, rather than age alone. Collectors also pay attention to eye appeal and surface quality. Luster, toning, and the way the metal reflects light are all factors that can influence desirability. A coin with full brilliance and no surface marks instantly stands out among its peers, attracting attention from those seeking the best examples for their collections. Another element that contributes to this coin's significance is its story. Coins that survive decades untouched often have a history, perhaps stored by a previous collector or part of a bank's original roll. Knowing that a coin has remained pristine for years adds a narrative element that collectors value highly. It transforms the coin from an ordinary object into a piece of numismatic history. Collectors often study the coin under magnification, examining details such as the sharpness of lettering, the depth of the torch, and even minor differences in rim quality. These subtle characteristics can dramatically influence the coin's grade and, consequently, its market value. The 1996 P dime in top condition exemplifies the pinnacle of these features, making it a rare treasure in the modern coin world. And now, the most remarkable aspect of this coin, the value it commands. A 1996 P Roosevelt dime in exceptional, flawless condition is not just a collectible, it is a highly prized investment. In the world of coin collecting, such an example is valued at an extraordinary $56,000, reflecting its rarity, quality, and appeal to discerning collectors. For collectors, owning this coin is a symbol of both achievement and appreciation. It shows that with patience and careful observation, even the coins in our daily lives can hold extraordinary value. The 1996 P Roosevelt dime may fit in the palm of your hand, but it carries a story, history, and prestige far beyond its size. In the last coin of today's finds, we're taking a closer look at one that might surprise many collectors, the 1983 D Roosevelt dime. On the surface, it looks like the kind of dime you might casually receive as change and toss into a coin jar without thinking twice. It's small, lightweight, and completely familiar. But once we step into the world of numismatics, this dime becomes something very different. The 1983 D dime was minted at the Denver Mint, which produced millions of dimes that year. These coins were intended to fill everyday circulation needs, not to be saved or collected. Because of that, the majority of them entered circulation instantly. They were used in vending machines, spent at gas stations, dropped into pockets full of keys and metal, and eventually thrown into cash drawers and registers for years. Most coins from this period show the natural effects of that rough life. They develop tiny contact marks, dull patches, worn edges, and surface imperfections. They lose their original luster quickly, and even the sharpest strikes begin to soften with time. That is why finding a 1983 D dime that still looks like it was minted yesterday is incredibly difficult. But every now and then, a small number of coins manage to escape that usual fate. And for the 1983 D dime, the few examples that remained untouched are the ones collectors talk about. These exceptionally preserved dimes still have the bright, original mint luster that reflects light cleanly across the surface. On the obverse, Roosevelt's profile stands out sharply, with no flattening or softness in the hair, face, or neck. The fields around the portrait are smooth and free from distracting marks. On the reverse, the torch at the center looks bold and well-defined. The olive and oak branches show crisp lines, and the lettering curves around the design with perfect clarity. These are the features collectors look for, and they're incredibly rare to find on a coin that was never meant to be saved. Collectors value this coin for more than just rarity. They appreciate the story behind it. In 1983, there was no special set of uncirculated coins issued by the mint that included dimes from Denver. That means collectors couldn't just buy a clean, preserved mint set and pull out a perfect dime. Anyone seeking a high-grade 1983 D has to rely entirely on chance, on the slim possibility that a small group of these coins survived in untouched condition, stored away accidentally in a roll or envelope for decades. That lack of mint sets makes this year especially challenging. For modern collectors, the 1983 D dime has become a symbol of difficulty, one of those coins that looks easy because millions were made, but becomes complicated when you actually try to find one in top shape. Collectors who specialize in building high-end Roosevelt dime sets often describe the 1983 D as one of the unexpected tough ones. It's not rare in the sense of low mintage, but rare in the sense of being nearly impossible to find with the quality needed to reach top grade. Coins that do survive in pristine condition often have a brilliant shine and nearly mark-free surfaces. The edges still look clean. The strike remains bold. These qualities push the coin into the category serious collectors fight for. Every detail is examined: the height of the torch flame, the clarity of the lettering, and the reflective surfaces surrounding the design. Another aspect that fascinates collectors is how the early 1980s were a period of heavy coin usage in the United States. People relied on change far more than today. That means most of these dimes saw years of handling before anyone thought to save them. The fact that any survived untouched feels almost accidental, like a rare moment of luck preserved in metal. As time passes, coins from this era continue to disappear into circulation making the few perfect survivors even more valuable. Modern collectors have spent years searching through old bank rolls, estate collections, and forgotten boxes of coins with the hope of finding a high-grade example. But the reality is, they're incredibly hard to locate. This scarcity creates a strong demand for the best examples. When a coin like the 1983 D appears in such outstanding condition, collectors immediately recognize its importance. It fills a difficult spot in a set, and it stands as one of the finest known pieces from a year when high-grade dimes simply weren't preserved. The 1983 D dime is proof that numismatic treasures don't always come from centuries past. Sometimes, they come from recent decades, hiding in plain sight. Sometimes, it's the everyday coins, the ones we barely notice, that end up becoming the most surprising finds. And now, the detail that highlights just how special this coin truly is. A 1983 D Roosevelt dime in outstanding, nearly perfect condition has been valued at an incredible $69,000. This coin brings our journey to a strong finish. It represents the excitement of discovery, the importance of condition, and the thrill of finding value where most people least expect it. And it reminds collectors that any ordinary-looking coin has the potential to be extraordinary when preserved with care and recognized for its rarity. Thank you all for joining me on today's journey through these incredible dime finds. I hope you enjoyed learning about these rare pieces as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on more interesting coin stories and valuable discoveries. Your support truly means a lot, and it helps the channel grow so we can keep exploring more hidden treasures together.